Okay, now that I have your attention, today I want to talk about something that I like to call the best experience of my life. When I went to WrestleMania 31 in March of 2015 in April. As this is a new channel, or I'm trying to start something, I just want to get the ball rolling in terms of content. And at the moment, it's more of a spur of the moment. What do I want to upload? Just thought of that. Let's do a quick video. New webcam. Just thought I'd give it a crack. So if my mates will stop messaging me so the sound goes away, bear with me. Real professionalism here. Volume mixer. That'd be a good start. Facebook. Mute it. Okay. So, my WrestleMania 31 journey. I decided to go by myself from Australia, which is quite far away. It's actually 14 hours just to LA, and then another plane to San Francisco for this case because WrestleMania 31 was in San Jose. What was good? So the bad part about it all was, and now my phone's ringing. Wow, this is irritating. So back to what I was saying. San Francisco. So going by yourself is very scary, as you can imagine. I've been overseas before, but with 5 other people, so it's a bit different when you're going by yourself. But went about 4 or 5 days before WrestleMania just to settle in and do some other stuff while I was there. To go to Hall of Fame, Access, all that other junk. And first thing that happened was I got to LA, all good. Then picked up my luggage LA, went to direct flight to San Francisco because I was going to stay there a couple of days just to get some toury stuff done before I went to San Jose, which is further south, I want to say. And I somehow managed, or I didn't manage, the Delta Airlines somehow managed to lose my luggage from LA to San Francisco. So it somehow got from Melbourne over the ocean to America, but from LA to San Francisco, it got lost. One of them got lost. So, and that flight was also delayed 9 hours. So you can imagine my frustration at that point. I was in one room for 9 hours with a fellow Australian that I'd never met before. It turns out we spoke for 9 hours and became friends. So, that's what happens. And eventually we got we got on the flight at 5 o'clock. Knew I lost one piece of luggage. Didn't know which one. One of them had all my clothes. The other one had more of the supplies, like toiletries and shoes and stuff. So I got to San Francisco, picked up my luggage. The one bag that did end up coming was the clothes one, thank God. Which, although that meant I only had thongs, that was okay because it was a bit warm at the time I was there. I was going just before summer, so it was spring, so it was good weather. And let me just have a quick refresh. What else was cool was when we picked up the luggage, there was no one there. I'm walking and I can hear these voices behind me and they sound familiar. And as I'm doing it, I can hear, it sounds like Jeff Hardy, and I'm walking, and all I'm worried about is my luggage. So I'm like, oh no, I'm just hearing things. So I turn around, and there's Jeff Hardy with some Sheila, with Matt Hardy, and with Gregory Holmes. And I contacted Gregory Holmes, aka the Hurricane, and he kind of looked at me, and I'm like, whoa, like just starstruck. It was crazy. But other than that, I really, looking back, I probably could have said hello. And I probably should have asked for a photo, but they didn't look too happy. I wasn't happy, so they're probably used to all the fans annoying them. But my priority at this point, it was 9 o'clock at night. My priority was just to get to the hotel. So looking back, I could have said hello, but in the moment, wasn't really a priority. So eventually got in the taxi with the Australian guy, and they dropped me off at my hotel. It was Park 55, which by the way is a very good hotel. So for the one time I stayed there, the one night, they were awesome. They even offered me an alcoholic drink once I told them about all of my problems. However, I'm under 21. And in America, you can't drink under 21. but I can drink down in Australia because it's 18. So that sucked, but I was honest, and I just ended up going straight to bed. I called my mum and dad, told them what was going on, and woke up the next day with my luggage found and got it delivered because I was going to spend that day in San Francisco. It was getting it delivered to my actual San Jose hotel, which was where I was going later that day because it wouldn't have made it in time if they did it at San Francisco. So that morning I did my little toury things just on a bus, and it was foggy as. Like I went on Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz. Didn't go on Alcatraz, just had a look. Fisherman's Wharf, all that stuff. It was so foggy I couldn't even see the bridge, which sucked. I love that bridge, and I've always wanted to go back. And the one time I do, I can't even see half of it. After that, got on a train to San Jose, which was what I was told to do. So that's what I did. I went on a Cal train, I think it's called, for California. And was talking to some guy there who was I think he was from San Francisco. And we were just talking about like sports and Australian culture and American culture. And he was drinking a beer on the train, so that just goes to show. He got off the train, and then I was by myself again. I was used to this by now, as you can imagine. And I was getting to the end of the train ride, and there were these two pommies, Jim and Aaron. This is a shout out to you. And they had wrestling shirts on, and I'm like, I'm by myself. Am I going to regret this trip if I don't do it with other people, like just by myself the whole time? So I ended up sucking it up. They were playing Pokemon, as I recall, and I just said, as we're getting off, I said, "Oh, you guys here for Mania?" And obviously they were. They'd been to the one previous in WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. So once that happened, I just met these blokes, and we literally just said, "Let's just get a cab together because we're staying at the same hotel because we got a package through WWE.com, and that was at the San Jose Marriott." So that worked out well. And I ended up spending the whole trip with them, the whole wrestling trip with them. And I always come back and think to myself, if I had got a later train or an earlier train, I could have done this whole thing by myself and it just wouldn't have been the same. It's different. We didn't sit together at the events, but we walked there together. We walked home together, went to the Access together, all that kind of stuff. If you're with a friend, it's a lot easier, that's for sure. So if you're thinking of going, go by yourself if you have to, because if you really want to go, just go. But going by yourself, it's harder. And try to just say hello to someone. Like everyone there's wrestling fans. They've all got shirts on. You'll know you're in a wrestling town because there's stuff everywhere. There's stuff on lights. There's your hotel card is got the WrestleMania poster on it. The whole shebang. So once that was done, we got into a hotel, just chilled out for a bit. We went straight to Access. It was a Friday. And went straight to Access. I might have been in the store. No, we went to the shop first. And that was massive. And I was just in like Candyland. I saw all these shirts and wrestling gear and belts. And I was just like, and my money didn't last long in there. Bought a few shirts. Bought a wrestling belt, which later broke. Which then they sent me another one, which later broke. And then they sent me a replica of the IC title instead of the commemorative, which I originally paid for. And I'll grab it right now if I don't knock anything trying to get it. Here she is, my beautiful thing. This is it. Ugh. There's the replica, a bit dusty. As you can see, I probably should clean this. Sits right under my telly. I might just keep this on for the duration of this video. Very heavy. Ugh. So, after that, we went to Access. I was looking forward to getting my belt signed, the broken one at this point, just to get a signature on it. And I could not believe the lines for the autographs, and you didn't even know who was going to be there, and people were lining up already, and you didn't even know when they were going to get up, so you could be waiting in line for like an hour, and then like someone just, say it was Rollins, for example, and you wanted to get his autograph, he might get up, and then someone like Reigns could sit down, and it's good to have Reigns, but I'm just use of example, you could be waiting, and then your favorite person's gone, so something they got to work on, I think. They got to, maybe it's a schedule, simple as that. Just put a schedule on there so people know. So I just walked around about 5 times just to circle everything because you can do it all in one night, but you get 2 days. And then the second day we went, and I went by myself this time, and I just they had a ring there. I just watched an NXT show. They had a few matches on in the middle of the arena, in the middle of the convention center. And I just watched Balor versus Corbin, Breeze versus Paul Dempsey, and Neville beat Kalisto. So that was pretty good superstars to watch. I was front row. I even got to touch Bella's shoulder. And yeah, that was an awesome experience. It's just a little, like a few people, like maybe 100 people just sitting there watching it. But, you take anything when it's, nothing and you just walk up to it. So I didn't get any photos with anyone. Didn't get any autographs from anyone because I wasn't waiting. I refused to sit there and wait. And especially with a phone with no internet because I was from Australia, I had no roaming or anything. So I couldn't do anything. I'd just be sitting there in silence. So then I'm skipping over stuff, but then the Hall of Fame was on. I might just drop this because it's getting way too heavy. Hall of Fame was on, and we walked there towards the SAP Center, and that was pretty, that was long. It was good, but it was very long. That's what she said. But, it was just, it went really long, like 4 hours of people talking, and I was like, ugh. And I had a good spot. I had a silver package, and I was right on front row, but on the edge. So you can imagine it was like right at the edge of the thing. So I had a side on view, but I was really close. So I would have been on TV. And I heard all the speeches. Brian's was great, pretty emotional. Schwarzenegger's was meh. Kevin Nash finished it, and the crowd wasn't even full. So, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do about that for the next one, but they should fill it up with Sting being there. And yeah, I mean, that was the Hall of Fame, and it was good, and you're more excited about WrestleMania being the next day, so you just put up with it, and it was part of the package that I got, so that was that. Once that was over, went to bed, got up for the big one, WrestleMania. The excitement is, it's indescribable how exciting something is like that, especially living so far away when you don't get the chance to do that. I mean, the closest thing I get to do is go to a live event. So once WrestleMania hit, I didn't know what to wear. It was hot. It was like 30 degrees, and it started like 2 o'clock in the afternoon because it was on the West Coast. And the pre-show was on at 2, sorry, and then the show started at 4. So I ended up wearing, by this point, I got my runners from my luggage. I think my luggage arrived the day of Hall of Fame it arrived. So I got back from the Hall of Fame, my luggage was there. So I had it ready for Sunday. So I decided to wear my North Melbourne AFL jumper, which is kind of a tradition for Australians, to wear their footy jumpers at WrestleMania. And you can see me. I was. You could see me in the show. You'd be able to point it out, blue and white stripes, right next to the WrestleMania sign, from the TV shot at the ring. And that was cool. So I wore that. Some trackies. I didn't even know what pants to wear. I thought I've never been. I'm like, do you wear jeans? Do you wear shorts? Do you wear trackies? Do you wear thongs? Ended up wearing Adidas trackies in a hat because it was so sunny. I was sunburnt, and a pair of runners, and that was it. And I got there, went with Jim and Aaron, found my seat. Couldn't believe how good my seat was. It was front row of the actual football stadium. So if you can imagine, there's a ring, and then you get people around the ring, and then you've got the grandstand. So if it's at a football game, I was front row. So it was still good because I was up high. It's like I was up high above everyone, so I didn't have to. No one was in my face, in front of me. Right at the front, comfy chairs, the like luxury chairs, and you're by yourself, so you want everything to go, good. And these couples sat next to me, and I thought, oh god, I've got a girl sit next to me. I'm gonna have no one to talk to for this whole thing, like 6 hours, and she introduced herself really nice, and she loved wrestling. I know it sounds silly, but you believe it or not, people go to that who don't even watch wrestling. So, I mean, there was one person who was on her phone during the NWO DX segment. She wasn't even looking. And I was just like, wow. So, yeah, they were really cool. They were asking more about Australia and what Australians thought of America, especially during John Cena's entrance with all the politics segment and video package. And from that, I won't go through every match, but the biggest moments were Daniel Bryan's entrance, which started off the show. The Randy Orton RKO to Seth Rollins. I went nuts. I nearly lost my voice at that point, even though it was the start of the night. Sting with Triple H was great. Being in attendance for Triple H's entrance was crazy. Looking back, it was probably a bit corny, but when you're there, it's like, this is the best entrance ever. Like the skeletons and everything else. On top of that, you've got what was next? Undertaker Bray. That was good. Undertaker. Never seen Undertaker in my life, so that was pretty cool. Well, the entrances were okay, but it was still light, so it didn't really work. And then Brock Roman, which when it was dark by then, and everyone was worried about this match because they didn't want Roman to win and didn't want Brock to win because we wanted a champion on television. And perfect thing happened. Seth Rollins ended up cashing in, my favorite, and it was literally the most perfect ending to the most perfect weekend. I hadn't even got the Raw yet, and I lost my voice. I was screaming. I shat myself when Reigns was about to win. It was crazy, and the fireworks. It's everything what people said it was going to be. Just crazy. And you don't even have to be a wrestling fan to enjoy it. Like there's music. It's just the spectacle of it. And I know it's cliche, and everyone says it, but it's just insane. So next, I ended up meeting my mates again after WrestleMania, and we just looked at each other and just went, "Wow!" Like it was just. I couldn't even talk. I was just like, man. I said the first thing I said. I even get a bit emotional thinking about it because I'm like you know, like a thing in your throat because it's just the emotion through your head and um like you just look at each other and you're like, fuck, we're coming again next year. That's changed. We're not going this year, which is I saved a lot of money doing that, especially with the injuries. And I'm not sure about this WrestleMania. I should be all right, but so that was it. Went home exhausted from screaming, and you still got to go to Raw, and that's meant to be the crazy one where everyone's nuts. So as this video is getting a bit long, went to Raw by myself again. Said hello to the guy next to me. Ended up talking to him the whole time. Was on TV again. Pointed myself out straight away. Had someone in front of me with a stupid sign. Was doing my head in. But that Raw was okay. The chants were great. Bit of a disappointing show, as in the main event was like a 6-man tag that we had seen 100 times before. Nothing major happened. You had Neville's debut, which got a great reaction. Lucha Dragons got a great pop. The Divas match, everyone was going chanting some vulgar things during that. And they ended up doing a Sting. We thought Sting and Taker were going to do the one match a year in advance stare down. That was what I wanted to see. And even that's another thing. When Brock Lesnar came out for the rematch, that was cool. And when he belted up Michael Cole, the crowd was going nuts, and that was a great way to start the show because it never got as good as that. It slowly declined, but yeah, it was just the noise and when you got all these fans from around the world in one little arena, and it's a small arena, SAP Center. It's you can't even explain how good it is. And then Sting came out after the show to do an interview, which everyone booed because they wanted him to verse Taker or have something to do with Taker. And that was it. And then I ended up going home, knackered again, and went to New York and met with my dad. And that's when I left the English guys, Jim and Aaron, and they ended up going home. But WrestleMania was only the start of my holiday, so it was only a few days into my trip once I was all done. So then I went to New York, had more problems with the plane there, but that's for another story. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll come up with a YouTube name eventually. It's just starting up, so bear with it. And yeah, I mean, if you ever want to go to WrestleMania and you're thinking about, oh, should I go? Will I enjoy it? I trust you. If you like wrestling like I do, you will enjoy it. So it's worth the money. I paid a lot of money to go, especially from Australia. It was at least $6,000. I know I shouldn't say, but it's just crazy, and it's I can't greatest night of my life, WrestleMania 31, and I hope I can do it again one day. And when they go to New York, I'm pretty sure I'll go again. So I love New York, and I wanted to go to like the Rangers games and all that other junk. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. So I'm rambling a bit now. So that was my WrestleMania 31 experience. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment. You know the gist. Share it with your friends. I'm just trying to get going. So thanks for listening, and I will end the video just like I started. I can't pause it. There we go.